Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to be reviewing carbon Weezel products against Archangel's composite products basically. I placed an order with both companies back in January on a 12-week delivery date, expected delivery date, and I finally picked them up 6 months later. I picked up Archangel's because I live within 30 miles and Carbon Weezel posted them later that same week. So it seemed that both were around a 6-month wait rather than sort of the 3 months that it's shown as. But let's crack on and have a look through and see what we think of them. Okay, so I shot a few videos actually up at Archangel's when I was there. As I said, I only live about 30 miles away from them, so I actually went to pick up the piece in person. Met Tristan, the owner, had a little chat with him about a few things and that. So let's have a little look around their place and show you guys where the magic happens as such for carbon parts. So as you can see, it's really sort of out in the middle of nowhere, their place. Quite a cool little setup, lots of barns, moulds everywhere, really busy. They were cutting up loads of sheets and stuff ready for sort of resining, and so really busy guys. Got a nice machine there for really precision cuts. So the idea that they'll have is to put it straight on a jig, it will self-load, self-router and cut, which basically save the guys there time on actually hand shaping panels basically. So it should hopefully get those delivery times down. Fingers crossed for them, and also be a lot more precise on actually the fitment of parts. But anyway, more back to the sort of main business. Behind me over there is the Carbon Weezel parcel. In there I believe I've got the boot lid and my Miglia arches. I'm still waiting on the Mark 1 front end, Mark 1 grille I ordered with them. So I hope this will make it a bit more sort of an honest review really. I've not unpacked their parts at all to see what they're like in the flesh. They're genuinely still sealed from when it arrived. So I really can't sort of badmouth one against the other until I've really unwrapped both. So we'll start with the Archangel's panel. So what we have here is a Mark 1, not Mark 1, why do I keep saying Mark 1? I wish it was Mark 1, Cooper S ideally, but this is a stage 3 carbon front end. So basically Archangel's offer sort of 3 sort of packages for the carbon, sort of basic, which is the heaviest carbon and the most sort of weakest, and then medium stage 2, which is middle sort of weight, and then they have the stage 3, which is basically the lightest but also the strongest of them. So I went for a stage 3 carbon, but I'm going to spin the camera around now guys, and then you can have a little better look at the weave and everything else. Yeah, so I went for the stage 3, which is the lightest and the strongest. I went for bonded A panels just because of the way I'm going to flip my front on it. I went for a gel coat on the actual front end and the carbon exposed weave bonnet. I just didn't want all full carbon front. You can see it's really nicely all laid out, to be fair. Obviously it looks a bit sort of, I say rough for want of a better way of putting it, just obviously with all the different layers and parts there. But as you'd expect, it's behind the scenes as such, it's on the inside. Really nice and light. I will try and weigh the panel just out of interest because they didn't have a weight when I inquired about it. But overall, I popped it on the car. Obviously it is extended on the top edges where it meets the scuttle panel to cut down, so I'm a bit dubious about that, which is going to be a bit of a nightmare. I might get a body shop to do that. You can see it's got strengthening parts here to obviously stop it from cracking and things. But all in all, sort of, quite happy with the inside of the product. But as you'll see, I mean, I've never ordered carbon parts before, so I've no idea. I'm just going to sit the camera down there a second. I said I've never ordered carbon parts before. I mean, I've got a carbon seat on my motorbike and things, but that's all obviously weave showing and all polished and all spangly and nice. So I've never had it gel coated too much. But I mean, I don't know how good a sort of finish it's supposed to be. I mean, I imagine it's got, you've got to go to the body shop and rub it all down, but there's a few little bits that sort of bug me really. There's a few scratches in the surface of the gel coat there. There's quite a few bits of grit in the top of the gel coat. On the front here again, I don't know if you can see it in the light there, there's a few little gouges, just see it there in the light part there, which obviously need filling. Again, I don't know if this is just generally how they all come when they're gel coated. I mean, I didn't expect it to be perfect ready to fit on, but I didn't expect it to be quite as like that. You can see there's another sort of dink in it there. Bear in mind that I picked this up in the back of my van, wrapped it carefully, so it's not been in the back of a courier van, so hopefully this will give it even more of a sort of genuine pickup, or should I say genuine feel for what it actually is like. Again, the rest of it all seems okay here. I'm just going to swap hands here, so sorry for the shaky camera. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, little things down here where the air panel meets, you just see where the gels just all pop through and stuff, you know, and you know, they're the ones that told me it was ready to come and collect, you know, so in my mind they should have had it a bit more presentable. Again, I could be too high expectations, you know, leave a comment, let me know if I'm being a bit harsh. Yeah, I mean, overall it all looks good. I've just said popped it on the car loosely and it all seems to fit on okay, albeit it's too extended that it doesn't actually sit on properly, but it all seems to fit okay around the frame and stuff. Yeah, I mean, generally I'm happy with it, you know. It's just, well, how much was it, about 670 quid for this front end and the bonnet as well, which I think we should unwrap the bonnet next. So yeah, as you see, it's fine, you know, it'll do the job. Go to the body shop and get them to fill it out. Just noticed actually in the light here, another sort of, you just see there in about the centre of the picture now, in the frame, another sort of dimple, just here as I flick the light over it there. So, you know, it's a handmade thing, so it's going to have a few imperfections, but I don't know if that's how it should be. Anyway, let's unwrap the bonnet, and that's the exposed carbon, so that will really show what I call the sort of how good the work is, you know, because they said, oh, they're giving it lots of coats of lacquer and it's, you know, the finished piece sort of thing. So we'll unwrap that and crack on with that one next. Okay, and here's the bonnet. So I said it's exposed weave, full carbon, stage 3. As you can see from the reflection of the tools, it's got a real nice gloss coat on it, in fairness. All looks really nice. Have noticed there's a couple little blemishes in the lacquer. Just going to pick that there. You can just see it just sort of centre of the screen now. See if I can get that in focus a bit better there. So yeah, so there's a couple little bits. It probably flat down. As I said, it's got about 4 coats of UV resistance of lacquer on it. But yeah, really nice. You see it's glossy as anything. So yeah, you know, happy with that as far as that goes. Again, there's a few little bits just, I don't know, can't really pick up in the camera. Oh, there, just where the light is coming across, you can just see there's a few little dimples. I'm just sort of flicking it to and fro. You just see in that middle beam of light, just kind of the bottom edge of it, there's a few little dimples there in the carbon. Let's have a look on the corners. So on this edge here, you can see it's not as glossy. It's actually quite satin sort of finish. You can see it's actually quite orange peely, and in fact, it's almost sort of white around the corners. Can I just try and get that in focus for you guys? Yeah, see, so that's not brilliant. I mean, it's on the underside, so it's going to be shut, so you're not going to see it as too much. See what the other corner's like. Yeah, the other corner's pretty much the same. I'll try and get it in focus there for you guys. Yeah, you see it's just a little bit rough, and I suppose that is where it's all going to be concertinaed all up all the corners, because you've got all the material lapping up there. The underside, it all looks nice. A few bit of strands on there which are all tied up, but as you expect, because obviously the clear coat, it all lays pretty nicely. There's no horrible sort of out of pattern at all. It all looks as if it's all the lines look good on it. A couple more little imperfections just there, literally above where that centre light beam is. In the centre of the screen now, just flicking over it now, as you can see. Just I go up into it there, and just coming out the top now. There's another little one there, and there's another little sort of bubble there. You can just see right in the centre of the screen now, just where that light goes around that little bubble. And that's not the contour of the lip in the middle. That is a little dimple in the actual carbon. That's it. I'm being probably really picky here. I mean, I'm happy with it, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go back and say I want my money back, but I'm just trying to sort of show you guys what I've received, basically, because I didn't have this option when I was looking myself. Again, the top corner there, a little bit of sort of like white and sort of rough, if you want a better way of putting it, around that back corner. All that shut line all looks okay. Over along there. So have a look at that, the last corner. I said again, this all got collected by me in person, wrapped in bubble wrap, sat in the back of the van, not rolling around. I drove back really carefully, So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is as good as it's going to come. Well, that one is quite rough, actually. Again, try and get to focus, so bear with me a sec. And that's on the top, sort of left shut. You can see there's actually a bit of a sort of scratchy groove down there. I'll tell you what I've noticed actually in this light, there's actually quite a big sort of scuff almost in the lacquer. Just try and get in the centre of the frame. So I'll get to focus on it right there in that second light bar. So not the very bottom one, sort of one in the middle of the screen. You can just see I'm flicking it up and through. Again, it's really hard to get these things on camera, but that's actually quite noticeable. But only because I now have seen it, and now I see it sticks out like a sore thumb. So yeah, I mean overall, yeah, there's a few little pinpricks here and there on it. There's a few little sort of white bubbles. I'm just trying to find out whereabouts I'm to. There we are. I'll get to focusing on it if I can. Don't know how I've got really shaky hands. There you are. Look, you can just see now it's focusing. A few sort of like white bubbles in it, in the carbon. So yeah, I mean overall happy with it. Gloss, it looks good from a foot away. So yeah, so the only thing to do now is unwrap the carbon Weezel. So I'm either going to be eating my words and that is actually a really good bonnet and that's as good as carbon gets, or not, or it would look the same. So as I said, it's coming from as it came packed up. Really nice rigid box, no dents, no damage to it. So let's open up this carbon Weezel box and see how it looks. Okay, so first things first, here's the fitting kit for fitting the arches on, my Miggly arches. So it comes with some carbon Weezel stickers. Well, if it turns out that their product's any good, I'll definitely be putting that on my car. So I've got some tiger seal, some nice, looks like quite good quality cap tops, socket tops, bolts. Haribo. I have read things on their Facebook page about Haribo, so I'm guessing that's what that's referring to. It's a nice black edging strip, so that looks good. So thing to do now, I guess, is unwrap it. As I said, this is genuinely straight out of the box as you saw, so let's see what it looks like. Okay, well, to start with, I was really happy with the packaging. Really good, strong box. They actually glued the top shut, packed in there, loads and loads of airbags as well, so it's really well wrapped. I'll be honest with you, I have no affiliation with either of the two companies at this point, I'll say that. And this boot lid was actually, shall I say, one that you had lying around. Basically, I'm going to be cutting it up, so I didn't really want to pay all that money for a pucker boot lid. So I did say, message the guy at Carbon Weezel and said, look, if you've got one lying around, it's got damage on it or something, I'll have that off you because I'm cutting it up anyway. So he did openly admit this had been lying around for a little while, but he'd do his best to buff it all up and, you know, clean it all up for me. So it might have some imperfections. I don't know if that's his genuine work, but his Miggly arches will show us that. All I can say so far is the inside is glossy as hell, as you can see. Really good gloss. Far superior to the Archangels at the moment. I've not flipped it over. I'm waiting with bated breath. The inside's really nice actually as well in here. Although this hasn't been polished, it's matte. There's no sort of like rough resin finish. So the finish, I think, to the underside of it is better on this inside face than what's Archangels is. It all looks nice and uniform, but it's just nice. It's not like overspill on like resin. I don't know if this has been pressure molded or something, or if it's a different process. But as I said, it's nice. We've got nice. All the bolts are all on there. Again, there's a few little spots in the lacquer. As you can see, there's a few little dots and things. But again, this is on the inside, so I'm not too worried. And he did, as I said, explain it was going to be, you know, it's one lying around that I've got because that's what I requested. But here's the moment of truth. Let's turn it over and see. And this is a 4x4 carbon weave on it, so it's not the standard 2x2, so it's 4x4. So that's why the actual carbon lays differently. Yeah, I mean overall it looks really nice. Really good gloss on the outside of it. I'm just sort of looking at it for any imperfections. As I said, it was one that was lying around that literally just said, yeah, you can have that one, and obviously did it for me for a good price as well. You know, I'll be fair about that. You know, he said it had a few little bits in it. which I have spotted just a little bit of weave misalignment there, but again, he did explain that to me before I bought it. I did get it for a good price, and to be fair, that's all going to be going anyway because I'm cutting all that out. Many of you will say, what's the point in buying a car if you're going to cut it all out? Well, let the air out, let the hot air out from the engine bay. But yeah, I mean, overall I'm happy with that. Inside looks better, the back of it, gloss, I'd say better than Archangel's. Not much between it, to be fair. There's a few little bits in it, in the lacquer, but none of that sort of white crazing and white dotting in it. So, and all of that will flat down. You know, he did say, you know, well, like they all say, go with a bit of 2000 wet and dry. You can smooth back any tiny little bits in it, but I can't see, just from having us look over it, any sort of major blemishes in the lacquer. It all looks pretty good to me. So next will be the Miglia arches. Now this will be the sort of real test, I suppose, because this is production, made for me, made to my order, carbon part, rather than one lying around and I'll titivate it up for you. So let's get that unwrapped and see what that looks like. Okay, and here's the arches. What's really nice is actually that they wrap all the carbon in the tissue first and then in bubble wrap. So yeah, as I said, these are basically bought, made for me, so this is really what I call a true representation of their work. And it's pretty bang on, to be fair. This is more what I was thinking of when I was looking at carbon. Pretty much flawless. I can't really see any dimples in it anywhere. The carbon's all laid up nice on all of them. What's interesting is, obviously, as you saw on the return corner of the bonnet on the Archangel's one, it's all white and sort of pitting a bit rough around there. On the return of the arches, I'll try and lift this around, get it in the light if I can, spin that around a bit more. It's all really nicely finished off, even on the return. I'll try and get that focused in a little bit better. Yeah, see, even on the inside there, it's all nicely finished. There's no sort of scuffs or marks or anything. Spin it around that way as well, so you guys can see the back edge on that one. So yes, as it comes down there, as you can see, there's no sort of white. Look at that, it's all gloss, nice. All the arches are pretty much flawless, I'd say. There's a couple tiny little bits just on the edge there, right in the centre of the screen. Now, about there, there's just one tiny one right on the edge. Again, that will actually be hidden behind a finishing strip. Not sort of giving excuses. It has to be said as well, I ordered, basically my order was sort of placed with both companies in effect through Facebook. I placed mine with the Archangel on their winter deals, messaged Tristan on their page, and he basically took the order over there. They required full payment, which I did back transfer for. For Carbon Weezel, it was 50% prior to order, 50% before delivery. So that was quite good. You know, it didn't sort of leave me too strapped for cash in the interim time. But also what I've found, again, a bit of a sort of review back, I suppose. Whenever I was trying to chase them up, you know, where it's gone 12 weeks, it's now 16 weeks, it's now 20 weeks, it's now 24 weeks. I said they both took nigh on within 3 days of each other, the same amount of time to complete the orders. It was about 6 months. Said it might just be, I think apparently the heat's been causing problems, which is understandable. It's been really warm, hasn't it? Apparently it's been causing a few issues with the resin setting and things, and one thing and another. Yeah, see, even that's all nice up underneath there. It's just all gloss. There's just no white around the edges and sort of rough lacquer anywhere on it. They're really nice. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying, I think it's Ben, isn't it? I think I'm gonna call him Ben. If it's not Ben from Carbon Weezel, I do apologise. Yeah, whenever I messaged him on there, even if it wasn't good news, you know, oh, so it's gonna be a bit longer, or you know, I had to give me a bit more time. He was always quick to respond, even in the evenings and weekends, which, to be fair, with my job, I can't really do it during the day, so it's generally evenings and weekends I messaged them, and he was brilliant at getting back to me, in fairness. So I was always kept up to speed, and, you know, on how things were coming along. Archangels, they were still good at getting back to me. Usually within sort of 24 to 48 hours I'd get a response from them. That was via Facebook Messenger, but I said with Carbon Weezel, probably within a couple of 3 hours, I'd say I would get a response. Sorry, battery just died on the phone. Yeah, so going back to it, yeah, so even the inside of the arches, you just see it's all nicely finished. It all lays up really nicely. It's all constant throughout, and I've just got the bonnet back out again. And when you compare it to, you know, Archangels, this is how I was, you know, received. Bits sort of splodged everywhere on it. Okay, I might be being a bit harsh here. I don't mean to be. Just trying to give an honest review. Can't really see in the light, but there's just some parts a bit sort of shiny where the sort of resin's bled through. There you can just sort of see in the video about here. Those bits there, just sort of shiny coming through there. You know, whereas the carbon Weezel one's pretty standard throughout. I just think it just looks like there's been a bit more care and time and attention taken with the carbon Weezel parts. Again, going back down to these corners and the edges. I'm going to focus on that there. You can just see it's just not great. I'll be honest. You know, paid a lot of money for this. You know, it's 700 quid give or take for this front end with the bonnet. You know, and you compare those corners. I'll just come back down to this one here again. You know, and the white nick there, and then you compare it to like the corners on this. I mean, as you come around, I mean, you might say, oh yeah, but this is a finished edge. Well, so is the edge of the bonnet. You know, just flip that over a second. You know, all those corners there, it's just all nice. It's just all gloss. All right, and to me, that's no different than the edge of a bonnet shut coming down that edge there and down here. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, I'm going to be getting a carbon fibre roof panel and carbon fibre doors both sides as well yet, and carbon fibre bumpers. You can actually see now quite clearly the glossy where the sort of resin's pushed through and soaked through on the left hand side of the bonnet there. So yeah, so basically, if I'm going to call you Ben again, sorry if it's not, Ben at Carbon Weezel, expect another order from me. Roof, pair of doors please, and a pair of bumpers. And maybe some more bits as well, yeah. I want a custom rear diffuser that I'm looking at getting made, so I'll give you that headache to sort out as well, I think. So yeah, hopefully this will help you, anyone sort of deciding where to order from. So this is just my experience. I'm not saying this is how they are every time on either company, to be fair. This is just how I found each one. Both delivery times about the same. Price, as I said, Carbon Weezel a bit more expensive, about 15-20%. That's just completely off the top of my head from what I vaguely remember when I looked at the parts 6 months ago. But yeah, overall really happy with the Carbon Weezel parts. Not dissatisfied with the Archangels. I just think overall it's just worth paying that bit of extra money. Obviously the guy who does Carbon Weezel is probably a bit quieter, maybe spends more time and a bit more sort of, you know, fastidious with it, whereas Archangels have got lots of orders probably coming in, they're well established and probably just don't have quite the same attention to detail. But there we are, guys. Hopefully that will help you. I'm going to turn the my iPad around now, so I may be completely out of picture, but hopefully I'll be somewhere in it. So yeah, basically I hope that really helps anyone sort of debating between Archangels, Carbon Weezel. If any of you guys get your carbon parts from anyone else and you think, actually, you know what, they're better than that, or just want to leave a review about someone else, really, leave a comment in the comment section below. That'd be really useful to hear back and just hear what you guys think of it, and just any comments you've got whether you think I am being too harsh to Archangels. So I really don't mean to be, or if you've had the same experience as me, or you know, just give a bit of feedback, really. Other than that, we'll keep up with the project. I've been to laser cutters today to get this, I'm not going to say what it was, and they did then, to get some brackets made for a part that I've got, which I think will give it a nice little finish. So yeah, we'll see what they're like. I'll show you when it's done. That'll be another video. So if you've enjoyed this episode, want to keep up with the build, subscribe by clicking here. I've no idea if it's in the screen or not because I haven't got a screen to look at, but somewhere around there, give or take. I'll just move around loads and then it'll be somewhere there, and then you can be kept up to date with the videos. So thanks a lot, guys, and see you next time.